Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. My name is Christy and I'm currently a student nurse in Alabama. And today I wanted to talk to y'all about volunteering. I've been in school, well, this is my second time around in nursing school, which I'll cover in another video. But this is my first semester in an ADN program. And I thought that it would be a really good idea to start volunteering, just to kind of get experience in the different fields of nursing and to kind of figure out which field I want to go into after graduation. I went to my local hospital, the one that I want to work at after graduation, and I just started exploring their volunteer programs and the different fields that they offer. And one of the ones that I found was on labor and delivery. So I know that I either want to work in NICU, labor delivery, or mother baby. And so when I found out that they had an opportunity for L&D, I jumped on it. That was just a dream come true. So far I've been to one volunteer day, and it was a 4-hour day. And I actually ended up being their very first volunteer on that unit. So when I showed up, I had my little uniform and my badge. And I talked to the charge nurse, and her first question was kind of, are you sure you're on the right floor? Because we don't really have volunteers on this unit. And so I explained to her just kind of that I was going to be the first one, and gave her the contact info. And she was like, well, we don't really have anything for you to do, because at this hospital, the waiting room is on a different floor, and it's not really the same type of program or setup that you would get on Med-Surg. And so, we kind of sat there for a minute and talked about it. And I explained that I was a student and that, just whatever they could give me, like whatever they needed to be done, if I could help out, let me know and I'll do that. And so about maybe 10 minutes into it, she came back and she said, you know what, I really don't have anything for you to do, but as a student, would you like to see a C-section? And so of course I jumped on that. I just thought, what an amazing opportunity. And so they, gowned and gloved me and put me in the OR. And I actually got to see the nurse anesthetist do an epidural and basically just start to finish, from the time mom got to the room through the epidural process, and then kind of got to watch all of the staff interact with her, because obviously, C-section, epidural, she was conscious. And just got to watch it from beginning to end, and even to the point afterwards of, after baby came into the world, and they ended up taking baby to another unit, and then got to watch them, sew her up, and it was just an amazing experience. And so I stuck around in the OR after that, and I started talking to one of the nurses and just explained that, I was interested in learning anything I could, and asked if I could watch her chart on the patient. And she was so helpful. She just did a great job teaching, and she actually let me shadow her for the rest of the day. I ended up being there for about 4 hours, and I stayed busy the entire 4 hours. So it was just an amazing experience. We ended up taking mom to, she guided me through the assessment, the post-op assessment process, guided me through the charting, what to look for, what we're actually assessing for. And I also got to watch the insertion of a Foley, which was neat to see it in real world versus in nursing school, because the process is not the same when when everything's crazy, and it's not the same. And we ended up taking mom to recovery. So then I got to watch the handoff report of basically how they interact with each other and what they're looking for nurse to nurse. So that was neat. It was just a great experience. And so I also brought this little notebook in, and it's just a little notebook that I got from the dollar store so that I could write things down as we went, because I wanted to make sure that if I didn't know something, I could come home and look it up. And it was almost like a clinical day. It was very similar to what I experienced in clinicals in the last program, and except more so because there was, I guess, really less expected because they weren't grading us on a rubric, but the information flow was still just amazing. So, to anyone who is either thinking about going to nursing school or is actually in nursing school, I don't know if every area offers it. I'm in school in Alabama, and I think it just is going to depend on the hospital and, kind of what they need and what they have room for, and how busy their units are. But they had openings at this hospital for labor delivery, PICU, pediatrics, a couple of things on the med-surg floor. So they had a lot of different openings. And so I got very lucky and I was able to kind of pick what I was interested in. And my goal is to volunteer on this floor for 6 months, kind of get a feel for the unit and the flow and, what their jobs are. And then to switch over and hopefully get into NICU for 6 months and see if that's something I'm interested in. And so I really want to switch it up. And being that I'm in the first semester of an ADN program, I have over a year left. So, within that year, maybe I'll also be able to jump in, here or there on different floors for a couple weeks at a time. But I would highly recommend it. I know that some of y'all are working and some of y'all have kids and some of y'all just like time-wise, it is not going to be a possibility to add in another 4 hours a week because nursing school is hard and it does require a lot. But if you can do it, I just think it would be such an amazing career opportunity. And not to mention the fact that if you pick a field, like if you know for sure that you want to be on this specific unit, especially at this specific hospital, you're really networking too. You're meeting your future coworkers and you're just that first day and that first time during orientation is going to go so much easier for you because you already know exactly how they handle things on that particular unit in that hospital, because every hospital is different. And I also got a lot of good information about how that specific hospital handles holidays, part-time versus full-time, their policy on taking time off, and just kind of what you can expect schedule-wise. And on that unit in that hospital, you kind of get an all-in-one. It's like a 3-in-1. So those nurses rotate. So if you're L&D, then you're also, in the OR, you're also rotating into postpartum care and you're rotating into recovery. So some hospitals divide it up where you're, labor delivery and that's all you do. And then your mother baby and that's all you do. And your recovery and that's all you do. This one rotates them out, which I really like because, if you're okay with changing it up every few weeks, that just, to me, it keeps it exciting and it keeps it new. And I feel like you're covering a lot more material or a lot more caretaking just in one go, instead of just being on a certain floor and you're going to be in the same job every single day or every single week. This switches it up. So it was very informative and I can't wait to go back and I can't wait to see, what else comes in. And it was just incredible. So if you can do it, volunteer. Obviously, you're not going to get paid. And yes, it's extra time. And yes, it's basically like taking on another clinical. And I'm sure that, the more you go through a volunteer process and the staff gets to know you, the more they're going to expect you to know. So I do think it's like taking on another clinical, but for sure it is well worth it. So I hope this video was informative and give it a go. If you can get in, go volunteer. All right. Thank you for watching. Bye.